Hello, welcome back to another video on my ongoing series on why comic books are so addictive. Welcome back. Uh, Bringing this book out for another video kind of prompted me to make this video because as addictive comic book was for me from 1981 through 1990, I must say the first um, you know moment that I felt sour about the hobby happened about the time when I found out that Marvel um, planned to launch a new X-Men title with Jim Lee. Um, you got I love Jim Lee. Okay, to me, the introduction of Jim Lee into the Marvel bullpen was fantastic. As an X-Men fan, I can tell you I did not enjoy John Romita Jr. run on the X-Men, but uh, being a completist that I was at that time, I didn't mind buying the book, and I did enjoy the run with Silvestri. But once Jim Lee uh, make the leap into the X-Men after he after I saw his work in The Punisher, great, great work. Um, I was extremely excited, so I was really pumped because Jim Lee back in 1990 was probably as big as can be as far as new artists is concerned. And once I heard that um, Marvel is going to do another X-Men title, that is the first time where I really felt that Marvel was milking it. To me, one title was enough. We already have X-Men, we already have X-Factor. There is no need to have another X-Men title just for the sake of having another title just to in hindsight that trend blew up even worse after the 90s, as we had multiple titles with Wolverine and Deadpool, you name it, oversaturated. Okay, but at that time for me, I was annoyed. uh, First off, I already annoyed at the high price of the books, and once the book crossed $1, I really felt that the hobby was going to a place where I didn't want to go. As I had mentioned before in other videos, that I really do believe that cheaper books is better for the mass. High quality paper, fancier ink, and all that stuff does nothing good. As far as I'm concerned, it satisfies a very small minority of the collectors out there. But once you go past dollar 25 per issues, I felt that was the end of the innocence of the hobby for me. So it's bad enough that I didn't like the idea of a new title, a new X-Men title. Add on to that the multiple covers. Okay, I can tell you, I bought one. I remember going to the store. At this time, I was living in Boston. I graduated from college in 1989 and moved to Boston and got a job there. Um, and I remember going to the comic book store undecided if I should buy all five. And in the end, I'm like, there's no way. It's all the same book. I'm not gonna buy into this gimmick nonsense. I'm just gonna buy one. So I bought one. But I think that was the beginning process where I start to feel sour about the hobby. And then you have this whole thing that blow up with Marvel and Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane and the rest of the hot young artists at the time. And I'm all for the creation of Image comic book company. I just didn't like how things transpire because it was pure madness in '92 as far as I'm concerned with Image and its product line. Certainly I didn't care to see the ego getting into the head of Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld. You know, as much as I agree with them on creative control and of course more money, it's always about more money, right? Um, Part of me said back then, and I still believe it today, it's the marriage of the right superhero with the right talent that make everything work. Okay, you look at Todd McFarlane. Spider-Man made him the superstar that he is. Since he left Spider-Man, he has never duplicated that success with Spawn. The same thing with Jim Lee. X-Men made Jim Lee the superstar that he was. And he never replicate the success again with Image. I will go into another video another time about Jim Lee and what I think about him with Image and what his work on Image and all that stuff. But I left that for another video. But so by this time, by 1992, I was already disgusted with the whole aspect. Okay, from Marvel to DC to Image. I'm not too fond of many things, and then you have Valiant. When Valiant came out, I was somewhat excited, even more excited than Image, because I like Bob Layton a lot. No doubt one of my favorite, and I think very underappreciated. But Bob Layton, you get Barry Windsor Smith doing some stuff there, so I was very pumped for Valiant, and I actually rooted for Valiant much more than I did for Image. But this entire gimmicky stuff was what really get on my nerves also. I can tell you, as I have responded to the few that watched the video with this book, I didn't cut up my book for the coupon. I bought the books, but there's no way I would buy multiple copies and cut up the coupon to get this pink copy. I just happened to went into the comic book store and overheard another collector trying to sell to another collector a set of coupons. Apparently, this collector slash speculator bought multiple copies of everything, and he cut up all the coupons of all 6 books and sell them as a set. If you were buying the individual issue of the 6 books that had the coupon, you would spend maybe almost $12. I think they were like $1.95 per issues. So give or take, it's gonna be $11.50 or with the discount from the local comic book store. But between $11.50 and $12 would be the cost if you buy the issues. What he did was he cut up all the coupon and he sell them as a set for like $25. And at that moment, that's what I did. I bought the coupons off him for $25 and mailed in to get the pink copy. But that's how I acquired my pink copy. I did not cut up my books because even back then I just didn't. It was never my way of collecting as far as buying multiple copies of anything. Today I have multiple copies of many things because not because I bought them off the rack. I have been buying other people's collections over the past many years, and many of them have a lot of the same issues. So eventually, I end up with many duplicates of many books. But by by 1993, I by now I'm living in Oregon, and I spent a year in Corvallis, Oregon. Sleepy reader Damien would know what this is. I was going to grad school at Oregon State University in 1993. I graduated in 1994, the summer of 1994. But before I graduated, you know, I realized that in 1993, as I was living in Corvallis and busying going to school and I worked full time at the same time. It was crazy. I worked full time and go to school full time. Well, I work 30 hours a week and go to school full time. And I still, there's a comic book store just a few blocks away from campus. So it was easy access for me to walk there to buy my books. But what I found was once I was in Oregon in January 1993 to attend grad school, with the busy schedule that I had, I didn't have time or the desire to read the books. And I have always been, up until that point, the kind of collector that I buy something, I read it, okay? So at that point, after about 4 or 5 months living in Corvallis, I realized that I have like a short box full of new books that I bought from the comic store that I never even read. And that's when I decided that, maybe it's time to take time off from the hobby and focus on school, career. Comic book has always been high on the list of fun, but low on the list of priorities as far as life is concerned. That's how I approach it. So it was not a tough decision for me at all to say, that's it. I go to the comic store, say, cancel my pull list, I'm done. I don't have time for this stuff right now. And that's it. That's how I walk away from the hobby in 1993. It was not anyone's big event that caused that divorce. More so, a series of events between late 90 all the way through to 1993 that make me less interest in comic books. And it was a great time off. I had to say that taking time off in late to mid 1993 to late 1999 was the best thing that I could have done, because once I returned in 1999 with the birth of eBay and the internet, it was game on. Armed with rejuvenated energy, a bigger pocket, a bigger wallet from having a good job and have money. It was a wonderful time in 1999, 2000. Anyhow, for those collectors out there that made it through the thick and thin and stay with the hobby from childhood until now, I love to hear it, because I have never met anyone that tell me, I bought my first comic books when I was 8 years old, and now I'm 50, I'm still buying it. I never stopped 1 month. I definitely have never met anyone that did that. But for those that took time off or did not take time off, I love to hear your journey. On what happened between the first time you pick up the books until today. It's from my knowledge and discussion with many other collectors, seem like many of us have the same stories as far as start collecting in our early days through the teens, and then by college days gone, and then later in the 30s, maybe late 20s, that we return for one reason or another, but I love to hear what other people journey is all about. Okay, anyhow, thanks for watching. Until next time, bye.